Hello everyone, welcome to the Top 10 Most Awesome channel. The world is full of unexplained mysteries, and for some reason, we as humans tend to concentrate on the mysterious things more than the unidentifiable facts. So if you love mysteries, you are in a treat since this list is the compilation of the top 10 most mysterious events that will make you question reality. Make sure you watch the top in the list and present your reasoning theories to us. Number 10, the Australian Prime Minister who disappeared. Harold Edward Holt served as the 17th Prime Minister of Australia from 1966 until his presumed death in 1967. You might notice the presumed death aspect in the previous sentence, as the mystery of Holt's disappearance still remains unexplained. Back in the day, the Prime Minister really loved the ocean and spear fishing, so one weekend, while he was spending his free time at Portsea, Holt convinced his 4 companions to stop at the remote Cheviot Beach for a swim before lunch, stating that he knew that beach like the back of his hand. Unfortunately, while swimming, Holt's body was quickly taken by the sea. One of the witnesses described it as like a leaf being taken out, so quick and final. You might think it was a terrible accident, and that's all. But the most interesting part is that Holt's death sparked one of the biggest search operations in Australian history, but nobody managed to find his body. Naturally, this story sparked many conspiracy theories. People believed he might have been killed by the CIA or faked his own death. Others believed he might have committed suicide, but those close to him completely rejected this idea as it was uncharacteristic of him. Number 9. Man becomes a musical genius after experiencing a head trauma. Imagine waking up one day and finding out that you are basically a musical genius, even though you haven't practiced a day in your life. That would be pretty amazing, right? Well, a similar thing happened to Derek Amato, only there was a significant price to pay. In October of 2006, Derek suffered from a severe concussion after hitting his head at the end of a pool while diving. After this, Derek suffered from 35% hair loss and some memory loss, but he also acquired a skill that many practiced their entire life for. He became a composer. As I shut my eyes, I found these black and white structures moving from left to right, which in fact would represent in my mind a fluid and continuous stream of musical notation, Amato explained his condition. It is believed that Derek might be the only person in the world to gain genius-level talent after experiencing trauma. And even though the acquired musical savant syndrome is already known to doctors, usually cases are not as strong as Derek's. Number 7. In 1955, a boat's entire crew of 25 completely disappeared, even though the boat itself didn't actually sink. Joyita was a merchant vessel that mysteriously disappeared in the South Pacific back in 1955. Though we can all understand that ships sink and tragedies happen, this was not the case for this mystery. What caught everyone's attention was the fact that the vessel was built in such a way that there was practically no possibility of it actually sinking. In fact, once the vessel was found, there was still a great part of it that was out of water, but there was not a single person on it. The vessel originally carried 25 people, but during the search, no one was found. This story left many puzzled as to why the crew did not simply stay on the ship and how none of their bodies were found. Number 6. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. In what is perhaps the most baffling and tragic aviation mystery of all time, more than 200 people on board Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 appeared to vanish mid-air on March 8, 2014. Despite government officials setting out on what they called an unprecedented search by air and sea that involved multiple countries and spanned at least 3 years, the aircraft and the remains of the 239 passengers remain missing. It's also still unclear what caused the commercial plane to suddenly veer off course. Liking the video until now, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the Top 10 Most Awesome channel, and click the notification bell for more late content. Let's get rolling. Number 5. That one time it rained meat in Kentucky. Back in 1876, the most random thing happened in Kentucky, and it is now known as the Kentucky Meat Shower. While Mrs. Crouch was making soap on her porch, she noticed something weird falling from the sky, and she was sure it was meat. What was first believed to be a sign from God quickly became of interest to many scientists. Those who dared to taste the meat claimed it was probably lamb or deer, but scientists initially believed it was probably the lung tissue of a horse or a human infant, because apparently those are almost identical. After further investigation, it was believed that the meat was probably vomited up by buzzards, who, as is their custom, seeing one of their companions disgorge himself, immediately follow suit. This theory was believed to be the best explanation. Number 4, a mysterious dancing plague that made people dance to their death. In 1518, a dancing plague struck Strasbourg, Alsace, also known as the dance epidemic. This weird condition took over 400 people's bodies and made them dance without rest. Some of these people even died of heart attacks, exhaustion, or strokes. It all started in July of 1518 when one woman named Mrs. Trophia started dancing uncontrollably in the middle of Strasbourg. She was later joined by 34 people, and soon after the plague spread to around 400 people. At one point, it would kill around 15 people a day. Doctors and authorities realized this was not caused by supernatural causes and claimed this epidemic was due to hot blood, but instead of treating the patients, doctors advised them to basically dance it out by building them a wooden stage. It is believed that the modern marathon runner would not be able to survive this type of intense workout. To this day, scientists are not quite sure what caused this terrible epidemic. It might have been due to food poisoning caused by the toxic products of ergot fungi, or it might have been a case of mass psychogenic illness. One-of-a-kind 100-year-old Traub motorcycle found bricked up in a wall for 40 years, and it still somehow works. To this day, nobody can explain how a 100-year-old motorcycle got bricked up in a wall and still works perfectly. What amazes many about this motorcycle is it's not only a weird story about spending 40 years in a wall, but also its unique design that no other Traub motorcycle has. It leaves many collectors puzzled as to why anyone would hide such a unique motorcycle inside a wall as such. Finding this collector's piece definitely raised more questions than it answered. If anyone has an explanation for what they see, then go ahead and let us know in the comment box below and share it for more theories. Number 3, the gorilla who said animals go to a comfortable hole when they die. The beloved gorilla Coco was taught sign language and was able to communicate with people through it. In an interview, Francine Patterson, who was Coco's trainer and the closest human to her, was asked how deep their conversations with Coco would go. She answered, it started early on with a conversation Coco had with one of his caregivers about death. The caregiver showed Coco a skeleton and asked, is this alive or dead? Coco signed, dead, draped. Draped means covered up. Then the caregiver asked, where do animals go after they die? Coco said, a comfortable hole. Then she gave a kiss goodbye. This interesting story surprised many and left a lot of room for philosophical debates. Oh, if only Coco could elaborate on her thoughts. Number 2, the falling blackbirds shortly before midnight on New Year's Eve in 2011. Thousands of blackbirds fell from the sky, landing lifeless on the ground in this mysterious event that happened in the town of Bay in Arkansas. United States, the next day a cleanup operation was underway and 5,000 fallen birds were counted. The birds were found to have suffered blunt force trauma colliding with trees, cars, and buildings. Initially, fireworks were blamed, but the story gets even weirder. Around the same time of year, 100,000 drumfish washed up on the banks of the Arkansas River. It is thought that they have been infected with a mysterious disease, and the two incidents happened just 125 miles away from each other. And some people genuinely thought it was a sign of the end of times, adding to the mystery. Even further, the same thing happened again on the anniversary of the incident on New Year's Day 2012. Blackbirds began falling out of the sky just like the year before, except this year, fireworks had been banned to stop a repeat of the incident. It happened anyway, but why? Well, We don't know. Similar shocking events have been reported across the world, including in Australia in July 2019, when dozens of birds dropped down having appeared to be poisoned. You will be shocked about this event. I mean, I am still thinking, how in the world is this even possible? Getting curious? Well, have a look for yourself. Number 1. Struck Ron C. Sullivan is the Lake Guinness World Record holder for most lightning strikes. Survived shockingly, Sullivan was struck 7 times in his life, defying the most unlikely of odds. Roy was a park ranger in Virginia and had a reputation for being the unluckiest man in the world. He was first struck in 1942, then again in 1969. His bad luck ramped up in the 1970s when he was struck a further 5 times. His last strike left him with a nasty chest and stomach burns. Being struck by lightning means being hit with 100 million volts of electricity, and it is miraculous that he survived. Why Sullivan was such a good conductor, we don't know. The vast majority of people will go their entire lives without encountering a single lightning strike. In fact, the odds of being struck are just 1 in 3,000. To be struck over a half a dozen times is so unlikely that it's almost ludicrous. How Sullivan survived being struck by lightning again and again, unfortunately being love-struck, led him to his end, and it's reported he took his own life after being romantically rejected. How sad. Did you like our picks? Tell us which of these had you questioning the most. We will come soon with the next one. Till then, enjoy our playlist of top 10 most awesome mysterious videos. Thanks for watching.